Hi, welcome to Crypto Ice Cream, where you get delicious crypto news every day. I'm Sylvester, and today is 10th of March. Let's begin. So, commodity prices like gold, oil, nickel, and agriculture products has skyrocketed this couple of weeks. What is happening? And why doesn't crypto price rise also? So is yesterday's Bitcoin price spike an indication that crypto price is about to spike? So if I look at Bitcoin chart, so yesterday was a really hopeful day, but today it's like the exact opposite. Okay, so or is the price spike because of Joe Biden's crypto executive order, which is about to be signed? Let's begin. Okay, it seems like the cause for green is not because of Joe Biden's crypto executive order. Because, okay, so this is Biden. Why? Because the executive order is just a formal letter that instructs all financial regulators under Biden to cooperate and come up with a unified proposition on how to regulate crypto. So the executive order is just the formal order, not the recommendation itself. And the news about this joint task force of American regulators has been out since December or January, so it's nothing new. Okay, so what is it about the soaring price of the commodity? Well, can we profit from this? Okay, let's discuss this one by one. Okay, so I have two wild guesses on why commodity prices are soaring. First, there's the worry that conflict between Russia and NATO will not easily cool down, even though the Russia Ukraine war has ended. Okay, well, as of this moment, there's actually a sight of hope that the war will cease. Well, Zelensky is now opened to three conditions that Putin asked in order to have ceasefire. What are the three conditions? Well, first, Ukraine not joining NATO. Well, Zelensky has responded and says that no, it's not. It's not a must that they join NATO. Okay, and then Ukraine acknowledged and admits the sovereignty of the three insurgents region: Crimea, Donbass, and Luhansk. Okay, so but the real question is still when. When will the war be over? Because it's been dragging for like 2 or 3 weeks until now. The longer this war drags on, the more and the longer sanctions against Russia from NATO. So what? Okay. First of all, psychologically, the personal relationship between Putin and the NATO leaders are already at an all-time low. The longer the war, the more negative feelings there will be. Well, as tough and cool as they want to appear on TV, these world leaders are just ordinary human beings with feelings and emotions like us. And when emotions are involved, rational thinking usually quickly disappears. Second, based on real life trade conditions, when NATO punishes Russia by stopping purchases of Russia products, like for example, like oil and gas products, that's big, right? They have to find replacement from other countries. For example, oil. Okay, America just stopped buying Russian oil, so America turns to Venezuela and UEA for new supplies. Let me take a look at the news. It's a bit funny. So Venezuela is this one. Venezuela frees two Americans after talks with U.S. So, long story short, Venezuela has been sanctioned by U.S. for some time now. So, but out of the blue, like White House officials visit Venezuela and says, I think they says like, hey, we're open for a new supplier for oil. Do you want to be part one? Like, we can easen up your sanctions. Well, out of the sudden, it's why? Because it's simple. They want to find new suppliers to replace Russia's oil. Okay, and the second one is like the Arab UEA, right? So this one is funny. So first of all, like Biden has asked Arab to increase the oil production there, but they refused. And like recently, Biden has tried calling the prince or the king of Arab, but they're not answering the phone. So Saudi Arabia and UEA refused to take Biden's call on oil. So it's a bit funny. Okay, when the new trade of agreements has happened, like for example Venezuela and America, it will be hard for Russia to regain back its original market share, even though the war is over. That's just how business works. Well, for example, let's say I own a restaurant, and I need corn for my restaurant. Okay, so my current supplier is good, but because of like some supply chain issues, he can't supply me anymore. So what do? Well, if business is regular, I do not want to find another supplier because it just wastes my time. But now, like I need to find a new supplier, right? So I begin looking for suppliers, and turns out that I can find a supplier which is better in price, which is better in service, and then I buy the products from them. What happens when my old supplier comes to me and says like, hey, I have my supply is back to normal now, so I'll keep supplying you as usual, right? Well, things is not easy right now. So I might say to him, if we have a good condition, if we have a good relationship, and then I might say, well, you know what? Meanwhile, I find a new supplier, so maybe you could keep on supplying me, but previously you supply me 10 kilos, but maybe now just supply me 5 kilos. It's okay. Like, so I'm splitting my order, right? Or maybe the worst thing is that I'll say to my supplier, the old supplier, that, hey, sorry, things have changed. I found a new supplier. I don't need your service anymore. Well, that's it. Like, that's it, business. So, okay. So my second guess on why commodities price soar is because of speculators. Well, they are the after effects. Similar to when a lion eats his meal, the vultures already smells opportunity and start circling on top of the meal, being ready for the opportunity. When the lion is full, then it's their turn. So then maybe there are two big questions in the mind of institutional investors. Okay, first question is like, what will be Putin's response? If the war ends, but all is not back to normal, is it now harder to regain? It is now harder to regain lost customers, and also the value of ruble has also fell. Will he stay still and accept his fate, just give up? Nobody knows. But one thing for sure, Putin and Russia is not Venezuela, which is helpless when America sanctions them. No, Putin has a big military and also a close connection with China and also a nuclear arsenal. Okay, so things are dynamic. There's a lot of uncertainty here. The second big question is NATO going to use this war as a momentum to destroy Russia's economy, to regain a greater influence over the world? Nobody knows, but it's certainly a possibility in the game of world dominance. Okay, so it looks like these two reasons, risk of conflict between Russia and NATO, and also geopolitics uncertainty, is what caused fear in institutional investors, not retail, which makes them park their money in commodities. So why do I stress that this is institutional money, not retail? Okay, because commodities is a complex market and needs high skill and knowledge. So commodities market maker are usually the big players in the industry itself. So the market maker for wheat is different from the market maker of oil, different from the market maker of nickel. Well, it's different because although they are all grouped in one category of commodity, each item is completely different. So a retail whom can profit in commodity is usually the retail, which is directly involved or does business in commodity. Okay. So the other question is, another important question, why park the money in commodity? Why not park it in crypto? Right? Well, because commodity is a basic component of all products in the world. Well, steel and iron makes up cars. Nickel makes up batteries. Rice and corn are staple foods. You have to have them, full stop. So by buying commodities, institution investors are protecting themselves, like hedging themselves from the risk of global inflations. For example, if a car's price jump, they will be protected because they own the steel, which is the main component of the car. For gold, it also rises because it's the basic component for many electronic goods and also proven safe haven. So are Bitcoin and crypto a basic component for products? Important question, right? Well, no. You don't need Bitcoin and crypto to make products, right? So is Bitcoin a safe haven to protect assets? In my opinion, at least not for now. Why? Because the price action is still too volatile. Maybe we've heard people mentioning about the types of asset, risk on asset, risk off asset. What's the difference? Well, simple. Risk on asset is the asset people buys when they are greedy. Example, Bitcoin, crypto. Well, risk off asset is the opposite. Where fear takes over, we buy risk off asset. One of the main differences is perhaps the price movement. The more volatile the price action, the more it symbolizes risk, not safety. Okay. So, will Bitcoin becomes a risk-off asset someday? Yes, I do think so. And we are moving towards that direction. One of the big catalysts is when American crypto regulations is fully active. Bitcoin will be embraced by the legal financial institution, banking. They will become the market maker, the bankers. Well, the price volatility will subside, becoming more like gold. So here is today's video conclusion. Currently, it looks like there are fear of uncertainty in the future of the geopolitics of the world. This uncertainty drives institutional investors to park their money in commodity. Will institutional investors also park their money in crypto? I don't think so. In fact, maybe some of the hedge fund which invest in multiple markets has already decreased their exposure in crypto and enter commodity. Maybe a few weeks, a few months later when they see the trend going up in commodity. Maybe they've already put the bet. I guess so. I think so. So in this case, they're the vultures, right? They're not the starters. The starters are the market maker of the industry of the commodity. They're the vultures who pops the price soaring up so high. Okay, so are there profit potential for us in commodity? Yes, of course. But me personally, I'll not enter commodity. Why? Because I'm not involved directly in the industry. And my experience and knowledge about commodity is very small. So how should we act in this market condition? Well, this is currently a very uncertain times. Positive fundamentals like mass crypto adoption, like mix and collides with negative ones like the Fed rate hike plan and Russia-Ukraine war. So there is high uncertainty. It's like swimming in a sea with rough waters. So what is the safest way to navigate this condition? For newcomers to crypto, don't be lured in FOMO or FUD by the sudden moves of market. Okay, for example, for example, yesterday when Bitcoin is suddenly pumps, don't get all ape-ish like FOMO and buy in this candle. The same goes to here. When Bitcoin suddenly falls, don't get FUD and suddenly sell on this candle. No. And for the veterans, well, don't panic. So me personally, I will stay calm and hold on firmly to my trading plan. This recent development hasn't changed my trading plan. It's still the same. Nothing has changed for me. Okay? Stay safe. May profit always be with you. Bye.